Welcome back to the Morgan and Louie in Portugal podcast. I am Louie.
And I'm Morgan. If you guys haven't been following along, make sure you go and check out the previous episodes. The last episode was specifically talking about moving our cats. And then before that, we were talking about everything leading up to making the decision and then how we actually started executing the move from the US to Portugal. So as Louie was saying, we made the decision to fly, and we had briefly mentioned this, that's why I'm telling you, go check it out. We briefly mentioned that we made the decision to drive to New Jersey from Virginia, where we were living. That way we could take one direct flight over to Portugal. So we briefly talked about that, and now let's talk about like getting to the airport and then how we got to Portugal and like what that whole process was like.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Morgan.
And I'm Louie.
And welcome to our podcast. We stayed at my parents, and then that was we checked out of our apartment. We stayed at my parents for one night. That was so unique because like we had to have the cats there, and they have 3 dogs, and like that was so much. The dogs were absolutely obsessed with the cats.
Oh yeah, we had to separate them. We had to keep one of our cat, one, or was it all 3?
Well, so like our cats are weird where like one of them doesn't like the other one, and so like they don't really get along, and at that point they were really not getting along. And so we were like, well, we can't lock them all in the laundry room together for the night. So we had to keep Chloe and a dog crate in our bedroom. And then Lily and Zach were in the laundry room together, and that was fine. But it was a very stressful night. I don't think either one of us really slept that night.
No, it was it's a unique thing when you know that's your last night. Mm-hmm. It's not it wasn't our last night in the country, but it was our last night with family for whoever knows, if ever again, right? Mm-hmm. And that's a very unique feeling to be like, we are leaving the world we know to. So it was it was intense.
Remember the night before, we didn't tell you guys this, but the night before we thought, no worries. We had to sell everything. We're like, no worries. It's the last night in the apartment. We'll sleep on an air mattress. We didn't own an air mattress. We borrowed one from my parents, but little did we know that air mattress was a twin size air mattress, and the 2 of us
and tried. 3 cats?
Absolutely not, because they cuddle with us.
Yeah, they tried.
Oh my gosh, you guys. So just plan accordingly with that. If I look back, I probably would have gotten a hotel for one of the nights or 2 of the nights with the cats. It just would have made things so much easier. So, like don't scrounge and like try to penny pinch everywhere. You're already like spending a ton of money moving. If you can budge for just like a cheaper hotel for the night or 2, do it. I
guess if it's gonna mean your sanity or a little bit more comfort, try and get as much comfort as you can.
Yeah. So we make the trek up to New Jersey. It's not too far. It was like a 7-hour drive. And my sister's with us, and then we're like, okay, so we're just gonna chill. It was like we got there, we went to bed the first night essentially, and then we had the full next day because then the airplane was departing, our flight was departing at 9 o'clock that night. So we really just kind of like spent most of the day just like relaxing.
I remember we had like our last like dinner at the, where was that dinner? I don't even remember. It was a pretty good place though.
Wait, I don't remember. All of that was kind of a blur for me.
The last night we were in the U.S., it snowed. Remember we were coming out of dinner with your sister?
Oh, I remember. Wasn't it Chili's?
Was it Chili's?
It was Chili's. We ate at Chili's for our last night.
It was right next to the hotel. It was cold. We had 3 cats, 13 bags in a vehicle, and we were like, we gotta get something to eat. Yeah,
so we figured, and this is like everybody's situation is gonna be different. So if you're planning on moving, just know that like your whole process will be totally different than ours. But it just made sense for us to go to New Jersey and fly out of New Jersey to Portugal. And we were like, well, the flights that leave from the US, the East Coast, are usually like 9 o'clock at night. And so we were like, we're not gonna just drive up the full day and then leave on an airplane immediately after. I mean, that some people do that.
Yeah,
that's great.
Totally.
Like all for it, guys. Go for it. But that's like a lot.
I remember thinking this out and being like, we want to be as well. It's going to be hectic when we arrive. We want to be as well rested as we can be. So let's treat ourselves in a way and stay at the hotel for one night and leave the following evening.
Yeah.
Versus just going full mode and just, like she said, drive up there and get on a plane and Whew, that's a lot.
With 3 cats and all of our luggage and 3 people. It was just too much.
Yeah, but again, if that's what you want to do, I mean, by all means, go for it, yeah.
So we booked a hotel. I found a hotel that was close to the airport. I think it was like a 10-minute drive. And it took animals, of course. And then I also found one that was like close to a bunch of like shopping and eating and stuff, so that way it would be easy to get food, because like, you know, these are the things, like the last minute things that you don't want to have to be like, oh my god, there's nothing around here, we have to drive 30 minutes to go get something to eat. So
you don't want to be thinking about that stuff. You got other stuff to worry about at that time.
Yeah, we literally just were able to walk right over.
We were originally thinking, because they have a service that it's like a butler, and we were thinking, well, we can hire this company and they will check in our bags, they will get us through security and TSA quicker than if we just do it ourselves, because they have this, that's what you pay them for. And so we got a quote on that. It was going to cost us $1,000, or more than $1,000.
All they were doing was hauling our luggage and
getting us through security.
That's it.
That's the only thing that they gave me in the write-up. Like,
absolutely insane.
I think they would unload the vehicle, which, you know. But anyway, that's what you have to look for, and it's probably more expensive now. If that's something you guys want to do, and because it will take a lot of pressure off. But it's very, very pricey, at least in my opinion it was.
But foreshadowing a little bit, we ended up seeing that a lot of people recommended doing it in Portugal when you arrive. So we'll talk a little bit about that experience, because we chose that as an option to make our life easier.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a moment.
But yeah,
so we did it ourselves. You know, we get to the we're driving around. We're driving to the airport. No big deal. You took a wrong turn. We get there. This is go time now.
Yeah.
This is no turning back.
Yeah.
Like, how did you feel at that moment?
Like
you probably had a lot of logistic minded going.
Yeah, I did.
You probably had a lot of like.
It was just like, let's get through check-in and then let's go find our gate. It's like going on a normal flight, right? Like the pressure you have of going on a trip and making sure that everything's good to go, but a little more, because like we had this huge cart full of luggage that we had to like check in, and I'm like, I was the one who was like planning and coordinating all of this, and so it was just
it was insane,
super
right?
Pressure,
Now let me ask you about what happened when we checked in, and we have our, we have our bags and our totes, and now we have 3 cats. And we have a folder for these 3 cats, right? That's important to have, right? So what happens there? We get to the we flew TAP.
We did.
The Portuguese airline. And
so it was really funny. We get there, we think we're good to go. We had looked up all the regulations, how many bags we can take, how much they can weigh.
So we were on
personal items, like we really thought we were on it.
Or else you're not going anywhere.
Yeah, well, clearly I wasn't on it as well as I thought I was, because when we went to check in, we were the first ones in line since we were there super early. And, we're like, or maybe we weren't the first ones.
We weren't. We were the first ones there, but like 3 people ended up cut in, and it was very rude.
That's right. But anyway, so we were one of the first people in line, and then when we got up there, we had to like cart our stuff over from the side, and like it took a lot of time to check in. They had to weigh every single bag and all the boxes and stuff, and then they were like, you can only carry on so many bags, like each. Like it was like we all had 3 carry-on size suitcases and a personal item, and for some reason they weren't going to let Louie take his personal item. It was so weird, and so we ended up having to check that.
Check what?
Your backpack, your personal item. We had to check that, and I remember being like, okay, well, maybe they don't need the paperwork for the cats. They didn't ask for it. We checked in every single thing else, no worries.
Yeah, they told us we were good to go. They even said, all right, just need those bags and you guys are good to go.
Good to go. So then we stepped over the side just to gather ourselves and get out of the way for the next people. And then one of the ladies came over and was like, actually, we need to see those papers for the cats. And we were like,
whoa, it's in that backpack I just gave you.
That you just told us we couldn't take on the plane.
Yeah.
And she was like,
oh, well, this is going to be a problem, because now we got to get somebody to go downstairs and figure this out and get that bag. And, so much for getting there early, because now we were
scrambling. I think we had like less than an hour.
Yeah, so that process took about 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah, okay, so it wasn't less than an hour. We had about 2 hours left, but then that process took 45 minutes to an hour for them to retrieve the backpack and bring it back to us just so they could see those papers.
There goes 1 hour completely wasted.
Yeah.
Completely wasted that we could have just had chilling, calming our nervous system.
Yeah.
But instead we're even more under pressure now.
Yeah, worried that they're not going to find it.
Yeah, or it's not going to come back in time, our flight, all that.
So, but...
So that's the first thing that goes.
You know, deep breaths help get through it. And they did end up retrieving it, and all they did was just look at the paperwork and make sure it was good. And then they ended up taking that backpack back, I think, when they were done. I don't remember if you carried it or they took it. I don't know. And then we made our way to our terminal and our gate. We found our gate, and I am not kidding when I say I've never seen an airport so busy. It was so busy. There were no seats, nowhere to sit. We ended up sitting on the floor just against a wall waiting.
Yeah, crowded. Wicked crowded.
So,
it was so busy that night for flights. Everybody was going, I guess, to Portugal.
I guess so.
It was absolutely, that whole area of the airport was just so packed.
It really was.
I converted my my final US dollars at the airport.
Right.
That's another thing you guys can keep in mind is like, you're gonna need some cash, or you should have some cash.
Good tip.
If you're gonna go to Europe, right?
Good tip.
Your USD ain't gonna be too good over there, my friends. So they have a currency converter at the airport. And you know, this is my second time. We had done it at the mall in the US, right? Second time doing it. I'm, you know, just think there's a lot going on. So, you know, here we go. We're all waiting. Our cats are starting to get agitated because they've been sitting in a crate for excuse me, 2.5, 3 hours, right? They have no idea what's in next for them. You know, that they're about to sit for a lot more than 2.5, 3 hours in a crate, right, guys?
Yeah, so our flight from New Jersey to Port, where we landed, was, I think it was like 6 hours and 40 minutes or something like that. Like it was, if I can remember, it's between like 5 and 7 hours. And it's an overnight flight. It's a red eye, and you arrive in the morning in Portugal, you know, obviously if you haven't flown to Portugal before. So we're waiting, and finally we get to board the plane, and I have like a video that my sister took of us like walking, you know, not the tarmac, but what do you call it? Like the little,
the final walk,
you know? And then I have a video of her that she like took of the plane taking off, and like, I don't even like remember.
What did you feel when we stayed at your parents for the last possible night ever? Did you feel some sort of way leaving the country? I
was excited.
You were excited?
I was.
That's fantastic.
We had fought so hard for this. I was excited. I was ready to go.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. I mean, nervous, of course. I think that's just like, that's a given. But like, other than that, I was just like, I can't wait to see what's on the other side. You know?
Really cool.
Especially because I'd never been to the continent. So I was just like, I'm ready for this. Let's do this.
You went in this cold freaking turkey.
Yeah, I did. I know. What about you? What did you feel? I feel like I didn't even get a chance to really ask you or like talk to you about it.
I knew we were busy, so I was excited that we had achieved our goal, of course. You know, telling work, hey, I'm quitting because I'm doing this. That's that's a powerful feeling, right? So then, but I was also like, this is it. I'm leaving everything I know behind, literally.
Yeah.
My comfort is now gone.
Zero.
I know nothing.
Yeah.
I know nothing anymore. I'm a new rookie in this place. Like,
it's true.
It was really soul searching.
Oh yeah?
For sure.
That's a fun word. Is it still soul searching to
Sometimes, yes it is.
Yeah.
Very much.
For me. We had a really good conversation. I wish we'd recorded this morning about like living here and what things have been like, and we're gonna get into that in the next few episodes. I can't wait for those.
It's pretty deep.
It's really.
I mean, to me it is. I mean, it makes you think. It makes you think. It makes you sometimes question things, right?
Yep. So we board the plane.
Yep.
And I'm like,
this is it.
Jittery.
Let's
That's
do
where
it.
I'm jittery. I'm like, okay.
This is where I'm like, let's see how much space we really have in these seats that we paid extra for.
For real. And the cats were pretty good for a while. and we were just trying to get some rest, you know, as much as we could on a plane. I cannot sleep on a plane worth crap.
Especially when you know you're trying to get a night's sleep because you go in there and your circadian rhythm is still okay, right? But it's not, because you're 35,000 feet in the air and you're about to start a whole new life in a few hours, ready or not.
Yeah. And
here we come.
I also had my sister to entertain too.
Yep.
She was there with me. And so like my sister had never traveled away from family ever in her life. And this was her first time going out of the country, let alone away from family. So she was really nervous. She was like afraid to fly. And so, you know, I had to like entertain her. So that kind of like distracted me. I was just very distracted, honestly. Up until recently, I was very distracted. I've been very distracted from almost about a year now. I've been very distracted. Just a lot going on. And yeah, so we're in the air. We're flying. We're going. We
got a few hours of shut-eye. Cats are doing good until they're not doing good. And we still so one of them starts going off. Can you guess which one of our cats started sounding off first?
If you follow us, you know which one it is, because she doesn't stop.
Probably the hungriest one, right? This little gal right here.
Yeah.
Her name is Lily. She starts crying with about 2 hours left on this ride.
Like, at this point, and you know, we're all over it.
Yeah, we're tired.
We're all done.
I tell Morgan, I'm never doing this again. She goes, I freaking hope not. And I sat there all aggravated on the plane, and I'm like, that was a dumb thing for me to say, because she doesn't want to do this either again, you know?
I forgot about that. So yeah, then they all start because one of them starts. The other two start.
Sound off, meow. Yeah. Sound off, third one.
Yeah, and we had created these like little goodie bags to give out to people. Nobody cared, but the stewardesses loved the cats. They were like, they have to stay under the seat, but then every now and then they'd come by and they'd be like, are they doing okay?
Yeah, and then we'd let their little heads pop up.
Yeah, we'd let them like pet them and stuff. So that was really, really cute. So, you know, we're landing in Portugal.
First thing I was worried about getting off that plane, I should just say it, is the cats.
That was me too.
Are they going to be fine, especially with Zach's dilemma that we had with the certificate back in the U.S. before we left? That was the biggest concern of mine, because if not, what are we going to do?
What do we do?
That was very, very nerve-wracking to me.
Yeah, but the vet at the airport was so kind. They were so friendly. So that really put us at ease quite a bit. And then the next thing was getting the road butler. So that was funny, because I remember you and my sister, I was like, I'll go out. Yeah, I think you went to go get a cafe or something. And I was like, let me go see if he's outside. And so like I was looking around, I'm like, I don't see this man anywhere. There was a ton of road butlers there, you know? So like I'm looking around, I texted them because we were later because we had to deal with the animal. We had to do the animals, so that took us another 45 minutes on top of where we were supposed to be. So he was parked somewhere, so we had to go move. So and finally, I'm like, where are you, dude? Like, he's like, I'm right here somewhere. And we're looking. I'm like, I'm never gonna find this guy. Finally, he sees me. I see him. Match made in heaven. Yep. And he helps me load our 13 bags into his van, and he kindly takes us to our new life. I feel like we should backtrack. We missed some things here, and I have some information. Yeah, when we got there, the airport specifically in the luggage pickup. I don't know what you call that area. The luggage pickup, the baggage claim. Thank you. The baggage claim and the vet are right there beside each other. So if you're going and like you're moving alone, or maybe you're moving as a couple or whatever, keep in mind that like the first thing you have to do when you land, if you have animals, is you have to take them to the vet. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. You have to take them to the vet. So we took them to the vet, and then we were like, oh crap, they're gonna let our luggage go, and we're still gonna be in here, and then our luggage is just gonna be like, that's a great point, rotating around. Oh, and somebody's gonna take it, and they're gonna put it somewhere. Keep that in mind, that like you have to go get your luggage too. Luckily it's right there, but like it's still another thing on your mind, and you need to go make sure. Like I went, my sister and Louie stayed with the cats, and then I went to go collect the luggage, and like I'm this little girl trying to like pick up 13 bags and stack them onto these carts, and like just keep that in mind, because like a lot of people who move are retirees and maybe not as mobile. Like ask security to help you if you need it, something like that. That's a great point, baby. So, and then you know we go through the vet, and that was also like my biggest worry getting off the plane, is like, okay, let's get this done. And then now we're like, okay, we did that. Let's go through customs, right? Then we have to go through customs. And that took forever. You sit there and you wait for them. And then they're like, what do you have in these bags?
Yes.
And you're like, I only
what
have
are in
a
these
shit
bags?
ton of clothes.
What are in these? What's in this
Forgot about
suitcase? This is the cat stuff. What's in this? Do you have a lot of electronics?
Yeah.
And it's just,
because you have to claim certain things, like electronics. You have to claim, I think, because it should be something that you contribute to the economy here, so they'll tax you on it or something like that.
So if you bring in a boatload of iPhones and laptops, it's kind of fishy.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
And also on top of it, like, don't plan on bringing things like appliances like blenders and things like that. The electricity can't handle it, number one.
Pointless.
Number two, just buy another one. Like, a lot of people will bring their stuff and like it's just so unnecessary.
From people that we've talked to, those who brought stuff always say, I wish I would have just left this behind, because like she was saying, like Morgan was saying, the power may not withstand it.
Yeah. You have to use a converter, an adapter, so it's just not necessary. I will say, if you're gonna bring anything, and I know this is a little off topic, I brought toilet paper, spray, like cleaner spray. I brought our like towels that we had in the US, and I brought sheets. Like, I brought very basic necessities.
Very interesting that the papel de limpar o cu was on that list. I like that she brought it.
Well, I brought it because I was like, we're going to this apartment, and I doubt they've
There's probably no papel limpar o cu over there.
So keep that in mind. And we didn't want to go to the store for the very first moment of our life in Portugal.
Where's
we wanted
the
to
store?
Drop everything off. Yeah.
Onde está a store?
What are we going to do with the cats when we go to the store? So, yeah, so keep that in mind. It's annoying because you're like, I could be fitting something else in this space, but like I had an entire box just full of like linens and cleaning stuff, so that I moved over, so keep that in mind. Yeah, so we went through baggage claim and customs, and then we were like, okay, let's go find our road butler. So then we went, we got out and we were looking for him, like Louie said. We found him, and he led us down the elevator, which to me, Porto is a very confusing airport. I don't know why, it just was confusing to me.
It's definitely not as big as Lisboa's airport.
I've never been.
But I get to see why you would say
it was my first time too. I was just overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And then he took us to his massive van. He fit all 13 bags.
Almost.
It was tight.
I had talked to our road butler a few times before this, and he was one of those guys which was like, okay, make sure you remind me like before you go. And I'm like, no problem, I will. So we confirmed it, and I'm like, are you sure you're going to be able to hold these 13 boxes, totes, and bags? Yes. When we got there, it was very, 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 very tight, but we did it.
Cool.
Very tight.
So
but
cool.
His confidence worked.
Yeah,
we were able to make it.
It did. And then we were on the road. That was it.
We hit the road. And that's where we'll take a break, right?
Yeah, you guys will have to stay tuned and
find out what happens while we're driving to our newest destination in our life.
That's in next week's episode. So
it's going to be a good one.
That's going to be a really, really interesting episode. I can't wait to tell you guys. I think we've hinted at it quite a few times. So
let our trials and tribulations be your newfound tips.
Yes.
Peace.
Yes. Well, see you next week.
Beijinhos.